Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Clinic. Yes, as we start, though, I need to. I'm back home. The audio should not sound good because my microphone is not plugged in. Um, Hang on, please, for un momento, and let me find the cable so I can plug it in and get the microphone back working. So my apologies. I got to go under the desk. Probably should just stop and start it over again. Here goes one part of it. Where's the part? I'm looking for the missing piece. Sorry, y'all. Oh, it's stuck on the. There it is. It was stuck on the leg of the desk. Now, I tell you what, for all you OG morning sconers, that's what you've come to expect over the years. That, despite my upgrade in technology here, this goes on this side. There we go. Despite my upgrade in technology, we still have some moments, some OG morning scone moments. Ooh. Okay. All right. We should be good now. Can you do me a solid and just give me a thumbs up if you've got good audio from the microphone now? Please just give me a quick thumbs up, and we'll get rolling here. So, apologies for the delay there as we got started. So, glad to be back. New York was great. Cool. Thank you, Brad. Uh, Lance Richard. Sometimes I miss the good old days of Drew turning on filters and blocking people. You might be a morning. You're a morning scone OG or if right if you remember those days. Okay. We'll talk some LSU baseball here. Tigers drop the opener to Mississippi State 10-4. I know the panic is full on set in for a lot of people. It shouldn't surprise me, yet but it never ceases to amaze me how many people just melt after one baseball game. It is baseball. You are going to lose games. There are going to be days where your best pitcher isn't at his best and your hitters don't swing and another team locks you up. And that's what happened, man. Like LSU was up 3-1. They chased Sierra in the third, and Mississippi State brought in that freshman lefty Stevens, who he's a freshman. His season-long outing was 2 2/3 innings against Jackson State, and Nolan Stevens went 5 2/3 against LSU, striking out 8, allowing just 1 hit and 1 run, and that hit and run came in the 9th inning. So, yeah, that dude was great last night. Tip your cap. He was awesome. He completely handcuffed LSU. They were confused. It's massively disappointing that you had Holman going against basically a bullpen arm for them yesterday, and Sierra, who's been around, but wasn't their Friday night guy, and you chased Sierra after 3, and you couldn't get it done. That's very disappointing. I'm not minimizing that at all. Yes, very, very, very disappointing loss. but it's one loss. The great thing about baseball is whether you win or lose, no matter what, you get to go play again the next day. You don't have to wait a week. You don't get to revel in a win for a week like football, and you don't have to sulk over a loss for a week like football. You get to go play the next day. And my guess is LSU is going to be pretty inspired today after that performance. Felt like they did after the Stony Brook loss at home that second weekend. So anyway, I got some thoughts on it on the game. Holman went 4 2/3. Not a great day for Luke Holman, obviously. He just didn't fool anybody. They hit him hard from the onset. He goes 4 2/3, allowed 10 hits, 5 runs on 10 hits, and he wiggled off the hook a little bit too. Pitched around some trouble. It could have been a more could have been a greater deficit, but your Tigers had their chances as well. You got up 3-1. Unfortunately, Gavin Guidry couldn't extend. Only got 2/3 of an inning, and then Lohr got you home, but the game got out of hand. Lohr allowed 4 runs as well. Gave a big bomb late to Hines. The moment where I thought for LSU their real opportunity came was in the fourth. So in the third, remember LSU hits the 2 homers in the third. They're up 3-1. So Tigers are up 3-1. Holman gets you back in the dugout 3-1. Top of the fourth, Brady Neal walks on 4 pitches. Michael Braswell walks on 4 pitches. 8 pitches. You got first and second, nobody out, and that's when they went to Stevens, the freshman. You have first and second with nobody out. Kling flies out to center. More on Kling in a second. Pearson hits a ground ball to second base, and he beats out the throw at first. As a matter of fact, they threw the ball. That's when he threw the ball. Wait. No. Ground ball to second base. Braswell goes to third. They get I'm sorry, Neal was at second, Braswell was at first. Ground ball to second, Neal advances, Braswell's out, Pearson safe at first. They couldn't turn the double play. So you had first and third, 1 out. First and third, 1 out. I'm sorry, first and third, 2 outs because Kling flipped. First and third, 2 outs, and then Bingham struck out swinging. Wasn't even close. And you went from first and second, nobody out, walks on 8 pitches with a chance to build on a 3-1 lead and really put that game out of reach to letting Stevens handcuff you, and then the rest of the game went the way the rest of the game did. So Tigers drop game 1. They'll go game 2 today. But one of the things that I'll say is, and I feel like I should have gone and pulled this clip, although I was home late last night and wasn't going to go pull it. But one of the things we talked about LSU's pitching staff with Hurd's emergence was this. LSU has an advantage in every weekend because if Holman and Jump can split games 1 and 2, then you have an advantage every week on Sunday because you have a Friday night caliber arm in Thatcher Hurd going on Sunday. So that could hold if you go win today behind Gage Jump. Go win today behind Gage Jump, even up the series. Then you've got Thatcher Hurd going on Sunday against Sinja, who's if you remember, he's the the ambidextrous pitcher from Mississippi State. Although I do have a little tidbit on him that that I had someone share with me, that Sinja's not really pitching ambi much anymore. He only does it if when they look at the splits, they're dramatically better against lefties facing a lefty. So he basically, so he's going to throw righty to all the righties, and he'll only throw lefty to a left-handed hitter if the splits for that left-handed hitter are dramatically lower against lefties. That's why. So otherwise, you'll see him throw more. So don't be surprised on Sunday when you see Sinja throw, or what's not Sinja? How do you say his name? You know what I'm talking about. Sinjula. I forget how to say his name. LSU saw him last year. and he wasn't very good against LSU. It's just interesting to see a guy throw both arms. Anyway, okay. We'll say some good mornings. James McKinney, good morning. Lance, good morning. Austin Kidder, good morning. Need some therapy from Uncle Scone after that performance. I'm here for it. Dale Broussard, 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position equals L. That, yep. Ray Langwell, let's get one back today, yes, sir. Ryan DeLong, morning, Matt. Healthy Pels team is a scary Pels team. Zion played out of his mind recently. Zion had 34 last night against I had 3 screens going last night at the baseball game, the Pels game, and the gymnastics meet last night. Zion scored 34 last night against the Clips, and that was significant because I guess it could be. That was significant because as you look at the standings, remember, you want to be in the top 6, which means you avoid the play-in, and the top 4 host or have home court advantage in the opening round. So right now, the Clips are in the 4 seed at 42 and 24. The Pels are 2 games behind at 40 and 26. So the Pels have tightened that gap with the Clippers with that win last night. And significantly, the Pelicans won the season series against the Clippers 2-1. And so with the Pels winning the season series against the Clippers, that means that if there happens to be a tiebreaker, the Pels would win it. So pretty significant last night. Brad Baker, morning, Matt. Very concerned about the offense. SEC play is going to eat us alive. Safe to say, repeat is not on the table. Brad. So Brad is the guy that I'm talking about. Brad is representative of the guy I'm talking about, who overreacts to one baseball game. I mean, Brad, do I need to remind you that a year ago, LSU didn't settle its rotation after Skeens really until Omaha? I mean, all I took last year was complaints from you all about the bullpen and how bad it was. The bullpen ended up winning you the College World Series. Please stop. I'm begging you, Brad. Don't be that guy. Please. Please don't be that guy. Like, this is baseball. This is not football. You cannot overreact to one game and draw wide-ranging sweeping conclusions after one game. LSU as a team, by the way, Brad, on the season is hitting just a scotch under 300 for the season. Like, that'll play. You'll be fine. You're not going to be the team you were a year ago. That's going to be the hardest thing for people to understand. I keep trying to tell you this. You don't have Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan and Braden Jobert who can match double-digit homers and play right field for you. Like, you're a different team. You're going to win with pitching, and you're going to be solid offensively. And I expect that the offense will continue to develop and find themselves a fine rotation. You lost 85 homers from a year ago and your top 7 hitters. To think you were just going to be the same offensive team was naive. And it's not like I'm saying that as a reaction to one game. This is what we've talked about all throughout the preseason and up until this point. We've said it. LSU's going to have a ton of arms. They're going to lead with pitching, and the offense will come along and figure it out. Last year was inverted. You had Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan and Gavin Dugas and Cade Beloso and Braden Jobert. You had all of these guys that you knew were going to be able to hit. It's like, hey, they'll slug until they figure it out the pitching staff, and ultimately they did. Like, please, for the love of God, man. Like, Ole Miss won a national championship a couple of years ago when they were literally the last at-large team in the field. Please, after one league game, don't draw a sweeping conclusion saying, well, I guess repeats off the table. SEC is going to be alive. Like, what happens today if Gage Jump goes out there and throws a 3-hit shutout and LSU scores 10 runs? Are you going to come back tomorrow and say they're going to repeat? This is baseball, man. For the love of God, you can't draw wide-ranging sweeping conclusions from one game. The 27 Yankees are the greatest baseball team ever. They lost baseball games. Everyone is going to lose baseball games. It's why they play 56 of them in the regular season. You're going to have a large sample size. At the end, we'll see how it looks. Brad. Matt Plabadall, Morning, Matt from Concordia, North Carolina. Drove all day yesterday to get here, driving back today to head home. Here to put my 86 Mustang on a trailer, but he's going to work on it in Pennsylvania. Okay. All right, man. Safe travels there, Matt. Dale Broussard, Kling can't seem to put the ball in play. So I did tell you all this about Kling. I've said this, and you'll probably start to notice it now. And again, this isn't my opinion. This is an opinion from big league scouts who I've asked about Kling. Because I said, I asked a big league scout who's a buddy of mine, is Paxton Kling a lock to be to go pro this year? And the short answer is yes. Drew, bring to daddy. Oh, all right, hang on a second. Oh. Yeah. So Kling and Jared Jones, by the way, are both draft eligible sophomores, as you probably know. And the challenge for both those guys is they're pressing. And for Kling in particular, look, Kling in the field has been awesome. If you actually watch the game to the end, you caught in the eighth. Whenever they opened up the game, the last out in the eighth was Paxton Kling on a full sprint toward left center, catching a liner in the gap. I mean, Kling has been great in center field. Offensively, this was the criticism, or the critique, I should say, of Kling. If you watch him, his front shoulder is flying open. And he is elevating everything because Paxton Kling is trying to hit homers to impress scouts. And instead, he's striking out a bunch and flying out a bunch. He's striking out and flying out. If he would just settle in and commit to hitting the ball on the ground and on a line, hitting the ball hard up the middle, the home run numbers will come because he's a talented enough player and that's going to happen. But in the meantime, he's hitting 226 and he has 17 strikeouts in 53 at-bats. That's terrible. 17 strikeouts and 53 at-bats. Try to give you some context on that. I mean, that's striking out in a third of your at-bats. 1 out of every 3 at-bats is a strikeout, which is not good. Dylan Cruz last year in 258 at-bats struck out 46 times. That's 20%, roughly, 1 out of every 5. I mean, I get it. Dylan Cruz was the number 2 pick in the draft. But he was also your starting center fielder. And he's a 5-tool guy that everybody thinks is going to be a first-round pick and that Kling wants to be a first-round pick and has the possibility to be. But he has got to stop trying to elevate everything. I just told you about the 4th inning. The 4th inning was where LSU really had their shot. LSU's up 3-1. You get the back-to-back walks. Kling was the first hitter to face Stevens, and he flew out to center field. Like, he is just trying to elevate everything right now, man. I mean, keep your head down, keep your shoulder in, hit the ball up the middle on the ground. Like, it's how Alex Milazzo has turned himself into a good hitter. Alex Milazzo has turned himself into a good offensive player for this team because he's gone up the middle and the other way. Instead of trying to pull everything, he's committed to staying up, letting the ball travel, seeing it longer, and going up the middle and the other way. And he just puts it where they aren't. That's how he's become a good hitter for this team. The other thing, too, last night that was not good was Brady Neal behind the plate. And I think we will see Alex Milazzo catch today because Neal was bad behind the plate. They stole a base where Guidry had thrown an elevated fastball, which is the perfect pitch to peg a runner trying to steal second. and Neal threw left of the bag toward the shortstop side of the bag, wasn't even close. And should have a good throw gets him by a mile. How many pass balls last night? I guess it depends how they rule the pass ball wild pitch. He struggled dealing with the turf behind the plate. It was a rough night for Brady Neal defensively. So my guess is Milazzo is going to get the start tonight or this afternoon behind the plate. I hate how they format these box scores. It's terrible. Whatever. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find it. I hate how they format these box scores. They're terrible. Here we go. Yeah, there were two errors. Braswell had one of the errors. One that there was a throwing error. Yeah, so Braswell had the throwing error, and then Bingham had the error and left where the ball went under his glove, which allowed a run to score. So two of your veteran transfer players had errors last night that cost you runs. So as for yeah, they ruled lowers as wild pitch instead of pass balls. But goes to the wickets, man. You got to come up with that. Anyway, whatever. I think Milazzo is going to catch tonight. All right. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Scone page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. How about that? Brett DeGrow heading out to the box for the Savannah Bananas game. So my nephew went last night. I need to get a report on it. Uncle Matt and Nanny Erica got Eli his Savannah Banana tickets for his graduation from 8th grade present. So he went last night. I need a report on how it went. There was Lance. Sorry, I read that one. Joel Cunningham. Ace got barreled up all night by mid-level SEC lineup. A lot of freshmen completely shut down our offense. Sign of things to come. So I don't know that I'm going to say that's mid-level, Joel. I think Mississippi State they started 3-4. They've now won 11 of their last 12. I think, before the season started, we all looked at the schedule and said, man, Mississippi State's not going to be any good. I don't know, man. They looked pretty good last night, barreling up Luke Holman. So to say they're a mid-level SEC lineup, maybe it's trending, or maybe that was just a good night for them. We'll see. If State goes out today and offensively has a day, another 16 hit day against Gage Jump and whoever else LSU throws out there, I'll be concerned. I'll tell you one thing I was surprised is that when Holman came out of the game in the 5th, that they went to Guidry instead of Ulloa. I thought they'd go to Fidel Ulloa there with runners on base. I get going to Gavin Guidry. I mean, he's got strikeout stuff, but Ulloa has really been your guy in that spot. So that was one thing that surprised me yesterday. Here we go. No doubt. Here he is. Anthony Guglielmo. Morning, Matt. Hope your trip to New York was good. Not coming on the baseball team. It is what it is. What is it, Anthony? It's what it is one baseball game, Anthony. Anthony, it amazes me that you will never learn. Like that. You're an outlier that it amazes me that you never ever learn about your approach to sports and how so flawed it is. How always looking at the negative bites you in the behind over and over again. But I get it, man. It's your defense mechanism as a fan. Like, you're the type of guy who you don't want to expose yourself emotionally by allowing yourself to believe your team could be good and then being disappointed. It's easier for you just to crap on your team. You are was it Randy Quaid or Dennis Quaid in Major League Two? The guy who sits in the outfield the whole game and just screams at the Indians about how bad they stink the whole game. Like, that's you. It's equal parts hilarious, nauseating, exhausting, annoying. It's all those different things. Ryan Dixon, do you think the week early schedule will hurt the team in SEC play? I do not, Ryan. I think going to Houston and playing that game at Rice, playing the 3 games at Minute Maid were all very beneficial. I think going to Southeastern, where you were in a really tough environment and rally in the 9th, helps you. I think a lot of people are overreacting to one loss. Like, again, well, what if we're sitting here tomorrow morning and Gage Jump gives you 7 1/3 of 1-run ball and LSU wins 8-2? I mean, then what? Friday looks like an outlier. That's why you build a sample. Leon Williams, good morning. Kirk Taylor, good morning. Matt Poppett, fire hobby. Well done. Well done. Dale, the Tigers are due for more cha-chings today. Dale. Adam Abear, no panic here, still going to Omaha. LSU's got the arms to do it, no doubt. But listen, I'm not trying to sell you here on last night. I'm not telling you last night wasn't disappointing. It was. I mean, you had a 3-1 lead. You had Holman on the mound. And in the 4th, you had your first 2 guys walked. And, like, you tip your cap, man. Nolan Stevens is a guy that none of us has seen pitch, unless if you're a Mississippi State fan. He's a freshman from California, his season-long out. He'd thrown 9 innings on the season to this point. He'd thrown 9 innings total on the season. And he went out for 5 2/3 yesterday and shoved it right up your lineup's T-Heine. I mean, they just couldn't figure him out. And you just tip your cap, man. He was great last night. He mixed speeds. He used both sides of the plate. He just fooled LSU's hitter. He didn't miss. He didn't miss. They didn't even barrel him up. I mean, even the hit Braswell got in the 9th was that little flare to center. I mean, I can't even remember anyone barreling that kid up last night. It's like, what if you would have watched the LSU Wake Forest game in Omaha where LSU got completely handcuffed for 10 innings? Do we look at that? Like, if you had just looked at that game, you said, man, this lineup stinks. Or that pitcher was awesome. And he was. And last night, Stevens was great. Tip your cap. Jeff McKiffin, good morning. Brad Baker's back for more. Let's get Kling out of the lineup and get the defense he's lost with the stick. So that was his comment was a bit ago. So I've already talked about it. So I'll sort of reiterate, and I'll go catch up on the comments here. Like we talked about with Andrew Stevenson in 2015, like we talked about with Milazzo early in his career, we talked about with Austin Nola back in 2009. You will sacrifice a bat for an elite glove at a premium defensive position, period. Now, you can't have 9 of those, right? But you will sacrifice a bat for an elite glove at a premium defensive position. Center field is a premium defensive position, and Kling is an elite glove. So you just got to accept the fact Kling is going to be in there every day. And he should be in the lineup every day because he's basically like having 2 outfielders. He will save you more runs playing center, hits and runs, than he'll give up, right? What you need to do is not get Kling out of the lineup. You need to commit to getting him to have more productive at-bats. And that's hitting the ball on the ground and on a line and stop trying to elevate everything and pull everything. That's watch it. If you go back, if you had to have the time or tolerance to do it. Go back and watch Paxton Kling from last night and look at his strikeouts. He is so far in front of the ball, and his shoulder is wide open. His left shoulder is wide open because he's trying to dead pull everything out of the yard. And that's an easy fix, man. He's a talented guy, really talented guy. But it's a draft year for him. He's pressing. And he's trying to hit homers. If they can just get him to make solid contact, the homers will come. Anyway. Oh. C-Mac. Kling needs Willie Mays Hayes treatment, 50 push-ups for every pop out. It's so true. It's like, you're a great athlete. You're so fast. Just hit the ball on the ground on the line. Like, why are you ever hitting the ball in the air? There's no reason. For most of this team, quite honestly, there's no reason to hit the ball in the air. Tommy White, you can hit the ball in the air. Hayden Travinski, you can hit the ball in the air. Jared Jones, okay. I'm good with 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts if the one is a 3-run homer. That's what big league first basemen are today. Kling, Milam, Braswell, Bingham. No, I don't want you hitting the ball in the air. Ever. Anyway, all right, I'll go to the very bottom to catch up on comments go because I'm like 30 minutes late on comments or behind. Please smash the like button if you would subscribe to the channel. Brant Roban, morning, just joining. Seeing people freak out about last night, just like last year, give the team some time. That's like every year, Brant. It's just what LSU fans do with baseball. Billy Freeman, Barry Jocelyn, can believe Will Wade and McNeese like 33. Wow, they're great. Good for him. Oh, here's Billy. Left hit 250 over the balance of the season to make MLB legit in the next 3 months. No, Billy, that's just not true. Major League Baseball drafts on potential. They will look for skills and tools. And while I understand that Kling is a draft eligible sophomore and could come back and have another year of leverage, it never quite works the same. Somebody today will take him in the top 10 rounds. I had one scout tell me that he'd offer him $900K right now in round 2 or 3. I forget what it was, but Kling is going to get drafted this year in the top 10 rounds, and he's going to go. He's just trying to make the most money he can. And to do that, he's got to start hitting the ball better. All right, Anthony's back. All I said, it is what it is from last night. I'm not saying they aren't going to rebound. I'm saying they got punked last night, not tonight. Get to play again today. Okay, Anthony, hopefully you've turned a corner, but you will have to understand that your history of commentary would lead someone to believe your inference or your implication was a certain way. But Anthony, if in fact you have turned over a new leaf, then I apologize to you for my reaction. Still glad to have you here every day, no matter what. And I look forward to more positive interactions when warranted. I'm not saying be a sunshine pumper. I don't want anybody to go the total other way. But find some balance is all I'm saying. I hope we found some balance. Thomas Lamont, the only thing worse than LSU's performance yesterday is the new SEC Sports website. Amen to that, Thomas. It is the SEC Sports website, especially if you haven't used it. And I understand like this isn't a high traffic volume website, but for someone like me, when I go there for research and for statistics and things like that, even to find scores, you know how like if you're going to book a flight, you have to tap the calendar and like pick your dates or whatever. That's how you have to find scores at the SEC website now. It's atrocious. It is an atrocious change they made. And I'm not one who's like, I'm against change for the sake of change because I don't like new things. Y'all know that. I'll try new things all the time. They did an atrocious job with their website. Whoever built the new SEC website, atrocious job. Shame on you. Go away. Mojo, morning, Matt. Men's basketball team a lock for the NIT. If they play against Moose State, they're going to be one and done. Mojo, I can't tell you they're a lock. What you really need, and I've explained this, what you really need is for Texas A&M to make the NCAA tournament. So A&M plays Florida today at 2:30. You need to pull really hard for A&M in that game because the way the NIT doles out their auto bids now is the two highest ranked teams in the net not to make the NCAA tournament get an auto bid into the NIT. So the bubble teams going into the SEC tournament were A&M, or I guess the next three were like A&M, like Mississippi State's in. Their net is 32. They just beat Tennessee. Mississippi State's getting in to the big dance. So A&M, Ole Miss, LSU were the three. So if A&M doesn't get into the NCAA tournament, they and Ole Miss will get auto bids to the NIT, and then LSU needs an at-large. Well, A&M's net right now is at 42. They've got 7 quad 1 wins, or 7 and 6 quad 1. They have no quad 4 losses, so no bad losses on the resume. They're going to be like a win today against Florida would be huge for that. And then because you look and you are South Carolina, they're 26-7, they're going to be in. I'm just making sure, because again, I haven't checked this in a couple of days since I've been gone. So I'm just checking to make sure there's not anything I missed. Yeah, okay, so Ole Miss's net is 93 and LSU is 95. Then Georgia's 100. And let me see the next SEC team as I scroll. Missouri's 159. Yeah, so anyway, point being, LSU and Ole Miss, LSU are next. If A&M, so you need A&M to keep winning. If A&M wins today, they get into the big dance, and LSU gets into the NIT, which I'd be great with, as we've talked about. LSU fan didn't get to watch the game, saw highlights this morning. We'll bounce back today. Billy Freeman, LSU fan, good morning. Clinton Auto, what up, dude? The only way to properly judge these things is after the series. Clint, I remember we had some convos last year about the bullpen. But you're right. You have to let it play out. Let's see how it goes over 3 games or 56 games and 30 SEC games. Brian Wynn, who do you like in the SEC men's basketball tournament? Am I crazy for saying Mississippi State? I mean, I think they're playing as good as anybody in this tournament. They just blew the doors off of Tennessee. Kentucky doesn't play a lick of defense. And so then if State beats Kentucky today, they'll get the winner of Florida, Texas A&M. I mean, am I crazy for saying Mississippi State? Adam Aber, how about the Cowboys knocking off the Vols? Saw a stat, 13 top seeds in the conference tournament were knocked off. I guess part of that, Adam, I don't know if that's normal, but if you're the top seed in the tournament, how much are you really playing for? I wonder about that. I have no idea. Ty Fly, I'd like to repeat, the Pelicans beat the Avengers last night again. Brian Wynn, what's up? Jordan Haddad, game coin update. All of crypto's going great, man. Again, I was out this week, so I don't know if they posted the game coin update. Again, I'm asking me for updates on anything that would have happened this week right now is not great because I've been in New York all week. So the last update that they posted was Feb 8. We're due for an update. I'll make a call today. I got some time. Let's see. Guy Brooks, good morning, Matt. I'm glad you and E-Rock made it home safely. LSU baseball bounced back today. Let's see. Vernell Thomas, good morning. What do you think of the Cowboys releasing their linebacker? would New Orleans have any interest in? No, I think with the Saints signing Willie Gay, they're probably set. And we also have to keep in mind, what is Nephi Sewell's contract situation? Because I'm thinking about your rotational guys now, right? Like Sewell was going to make the team, suffered an ACL injury. If he's he's 25 years old, they like him a lot. He's a rotational guy who can also play special teams. My point is, if you're, he signed a 3-year, $2.5 million deal. So Sewell's still under contract for 2024. Then he's a restricted free agent 2025. So you've got Sewell coming off an ACL, which you hope he's healthy, and that'd be great if he is. But I didn't get to talk much about the Willie Gay signing either. I like the Willie Gay addition. And my real hope with Willie Gay is that he helps the Saints against the run. That's kind of his forte, and they need it because the Saints were such a dominant run defense for a half decade, and they've just been bad. Yep. Saints rushing defense this past year, I think they were 27th. Saints were 27th in the NFL against the run this year. That's atrocious. I mean, you just, no, that's not right. Hang on. 22nd. That's what I thought. Okay. I thought they were 21st. They were 22nd against the run and rushing yards allowed. So, but still, you're in the bottom of the league. And that was something that was such a cornerstone of Dennis Allen's defense for so long, was not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Now you're one of the worst in the league. So my hope is Willie Gay comes in and helps the Saints against the run. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Scone page, share the post. Shout out to our LinkedIn folks as well for being there. Bob Poole asked about Ethan Fry. I don't have an update. I know he hurt the shoulder diving back into first base. Earl, what did the Lady Tigers? Matt, did the Lady Tigers win last night with a start? I feel like had they lost, would have heard that, but let's see. They beat, that was Tuesday. They beat Texas. They didn't play last night. They played today. They play Ole Miss today. It's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It was moved because of it's moved to 6 p.m. due to the forecast in the area. A move from 6 p.m. So they play at noon today. It was supposed to be a night game. They play at noon today at Tiger Park. Okay. So they play Ole Miss today at noon at Tiger Park. Bob Poole, sorry, I just read that one. Well, hi. You want to come say hi to Dad show? Okay. Come see. All right.
Never Dad show.
You haven't seen Dad show all week. Is Daddy? Hey, where was Mommy and Daddy? Do you know where Mommy and Daddy went?
No.
New.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. We went to New York. Can you say New York?
New York.
New York. That's where Mommy and Daddy went. Hey, what are we going to do today after Dad's show? Where are Daddy and Drew going to go?
Daddy's work.
Daddy's work. We got a long day today. You know where else we got to go? We got to go to Mama and Papa's house. We got to go to Clegg's. We got to go to what else did Mommy want us to do? I don't. We got a lot of stuff we got to go do today, you and me. We got a lot of errands to run, huh?
Okay.
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 I love you so much.
Okay.
I love you so much.
What's up, Scone?
Are you so happy that Mommy and Daddy are home?
What's up, Scone?
Hey, look.
Mama's house.
Chris and Drew says New York.
Mama's
New York.
Mom-
Dawn said, "Good morning,
Mom-
Drew."
Mama's house first.
Mom was house first. You want to say hi to Dawn?
Okay.
You want to say hi, Dawn?
Hi, Dad.
You want to say hi to Jesse?
Hi, Dad. Yeah.
Okay, he's gone. Barking like a dog. Barking like a dog. Peter Fennick, morning. Look forward to winning the SEC championship this Saturday, then the Natty. I don't know what you're talking about, Peter. Matty Tall, I like his hairstyle. Brady Beacom, where do you think the lady basketball team is going to land in the NCAA? I think they'll get a 2 seed. And I actually did hear Kim Mulkey before we left on Tuesday. I heard her interview with Hester and T-Bob. She says they're either going to go to, did she say Albany or Portland? So they'll play the first 2 rounds at the Maravich Center. Excuse me. And then they'll be sent. I'm almost positive I heard her say either Albany or Portland. So either way, for the second weekend for the round of 16, provided they make it, which I'm assuming they will, they'll play. They'll be traveling. But this is a good week for them, man. Good week off. Let this team get healthy. You know, I mean, they've been playing great, so there's the whole thought of, you know, you want to keep playing when you're playing good. But, man, I think having this week to let Angel Reese and Michaela Williams and last year Poa all get healthy, man. Let your team get their legs back under them to go sprint for 3 weeks, try to win a national championship. I like it. Cortland, let's see. Wake lost the series last weekend. Happens, man. Teams lose games. Teams lose series. Adrian Bailey, what's up? Like, I'm trying to remember now. It goes to show you just how much you just forget, because in the end, it's all just a process to get you where you want to go. But like, let's see, I'm looking at last year, LSU. Oh, that's right. The third game of the South Carolina series was canceled last year. Kentucky swept Ole Miss, swept Bama. Oh yeah, they lost the Auburn series, and LSU got run ruled on Sunday. Skeens won on Friday 3-0. They lost 8-6 on Saturday, and then they got run ruled on Sunday. And by the way, that was May the 7th. You were into the last month of the season. You got run ruled by Auburn, and then you lost the series to Mississippi State at home. You run ruled them in game 1, then you lost 9-4, and then you lost 14-13. Oh, that's where you blew the lead. Oh, yeah. And then you lost in extras. You all remember that last year? That great LSU baseball team? That historic team with the top 2 picks in the draft and the best pitcher any of us have ever seen, the best position player any of us have ever seen, all the veteran players, the 150 whatever home runs that they hit, lost back-to-back weekends to Auburn and Mississippi State in May. And then went 1-2 in the SEC tournament. Just limped right into that postseason. Had no shot. No shot. LSU was third in the SEC last year. No shot. Oh, they won the Natty? Weird. Anyway. Austin, Matt Saban made $10 million a year. Looked the other way while recruits got paid. But since NIL leveled the playing field, he's on TV lobbying Congress. I mean, y'all know how I feel about it. Like my line that I've said forever with respect to NIL, transfer portal, all that stuff is the only people that are inconvenienced. The only people that are inconvenienced are coaches. Because now they have to work harder to recruit their current roster, lose guys at the portal, worry about NIL. It's a lot for coaches. And I am not at all in any way sympathetic to coaches making millions of dollars a year. I'm not. I would rather advantages for student athletes than millionaire coaches. So I am Nick Saban showing off his Ferrari, multiple homes, dudes making 10 million plus a year. I am sorry that now you have to go recruit another offensive lineman because some kid left in the portal. Bleep you, man. I don't care. Say whatever you want about, are these kids getting an education and using the opportunity they have to build legacy at a certain place. Let them figure that out. For most of them, an opportunity to make 6 figures or 7 figures in a year is something they'll never get in their professional life. You have an opportunity to go get that money, go get it if they want it. Let's see. Peter, are you back saying Hudco again? Yeah, Hudco Roofing. It's just it's a long, complicated conversation with contracts and all different sort of stuff. But the bottom line is we're the same people. It's Tilly and Terrio and me and Joe Morales and all of our great crews and the people in the office when you call. Just give us a shout. 364-1007 or HUDCOroofing.com. Ben Giat, how's Drew's eating going? I remember saying he was beginning to eat by mouth. So he's been getting, thank you for asking, Ben. Drew has gotten enough feeding therapy ever since, since he's been home, right? Because he's got a feeding tube. That's how he gets the majority of his nourishment. So Margaret Reed is his therapist over at Abilities. And so they've been working on, obviously, getting him to sip first, to drink his Pediasure orally, and then she's working on textures and tastes and chewing and all that sort of stuff. So yes, we're progressing, and it's a long way to go, but yeah, we're making progress every day. Let's see. Earl, how much it hurts Isaac at a Saints corner going to the 49ers and we're on Lattimore. So you're talking about Yadam, right? Isaac Yadam. Yeah, I mean, that was a guy that with Lattimore's injury this year stepped up and started and played well for you. And he could also play the nickel for you as well. So he was a good part of your rotation with Lattimore, Debo, and then Alontae Taylor. You have to replace that guy. Maybe that elevates corner as a draft need, but you're not looking for a starter necessarily. You're looking for someone that's going to help you on special teams, play some nickel, and maybe be a rotational piece at corner. So that's the good thing. It's you don't have to go looking in round 1 for a cornerback. You could probably shop the bargain bin in free agency and find find a rotational corner piece who's got a lot of experience who can help you in a spot. So it certainly is a body that you'll have to replace. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Brant, wonder if A&M and Wake Forest fans are melting down like LSU fans from last night. Becky Thornton Herod, good morning. Go Tigers. Trivia Carter, can you explain the new CFP payout? Did they agree to anything yesterday? Again, keep in mind, been out of town. I don't know if they agreed on anything yet. Okay, they did agree to a new CFP deal. Let's see. All 9 conferences in Notre Dame have agreed to the next college football playoff contract, which begin in 2026. Bring the sport closer to 14 with guarantees. I'm trying to get to the money. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Starting in 2026, the new 6-year agreement will codify the further financial separation of the expanded Big Ten, the SEC, from everyone else. It's like the Godfather's offer you can't refuse. Here you go. All right, here you go. Financial distribution. On an annual basis, the Big Ten and the SEC will be making more than $21 million, up from $5.5 million. Power 5 conference currently made good. ACC will get schools will get $13 million annually. Big 12 will get $12 million annually. Notre Dame expected to get $12 million as well. Group of Five's annual payments under $1.8 million. They're currently making 1.5. So basically, oh God, Washington State, Oregon State are going to make $360K. Wow. That's the biggest knock because they had been with the Pac-12 where they were making between $6 and $7 million annually. Wow. That's devastating for them. Basically, under this agreement, it's better for Oregon State and Washington State to join a G5 school, a G5 league, than it is to stay independent. Wow. I'll be interested to see if, like, the Mountain West, for example, merges with Oregon State and Washington State under the banner of the Pac-12 because there's more brand awareness in the Pac-12 and equity built up in that name. But Washington State and Oregon State can't stay independent and get $360K each. There's no way. That's crazy. But basically what's happened is, so like everybody else has essentially stayed the same. Well, no, that's not true. So like all the Power 5 currently gets all the Power 5 schools get about $5.5 million. So basically what the Big Ten and the SEC has said, all right, we're going to get way more than everybody else. Like we're not staking the same amount that everyone else is. So every SEC and Big Ten school is going to get $21 million, up from $5.5. So like if everyone was here, the SEC goes, everyone's here at $5.5. SEC goes to 21. Big 12, Pac-12 goes to 12, so they go up as well. The G5 goes from 1.5 to 1.8 right here, and Oregon State, Washington State go down. So basically, the gap just got huge. I love it. Get what you deserve. All right, please smash the like button if you're on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Blaine said, is your audio being captured through another mic? Quality doesn't seem to be the same. So yes, Blaine, I thought earlier today. So yes, I had to plug it in when we started the show today because I took all the stuff with me. So I had to restart it and I didn't. So real quick,
fault. That's what I forgot to do. Was that? Is that better now? Is that better? My assumption is the mic should be better now. Yes. Are you hearing this now? Did the audio quality just get better? Please let me know. Just do like thumbs up or whatever if the audio quality got better. Cortland. Wait, who are we talking about? I'm missing somebody here. Oh, y'all talking about Nick. He's leaving for the same reasons left the NFL. People are hating on him for it. I don't know. Okay. Hey, babe. So the Nick Saban wasn't good in the NFL argument is actually not true. Nick's first year in the NFL, Miami went 10-6. Like he couldn't hack it in the NFL thing just actually it's a narrative that started that isn't 100% accurate. So his first year there in Miami with '05, I'm sorry, they went 9-7. I said 10-6, they went 9-7. And they won their final 6 games that year. I'm trying to see. And then, of course, you know what happened in '06. They signed Culpepper instead of Breeze. They had a struggle that year. And then went 6-10. That's what it was. So at 9-7 his first year. And then the next year they went 6-10 with obviously they signed Culpepper instead of Breeze. And the Alabama job came open. I don't think it was that he was so bad in the NFL that they were going to fire him. I think after two seasons, he realized he'd rather be in college football than in the NFL. And so he left. Like, so to say he couldn't hack it in the NFL, I think is a bit of a misnomer. Because I don't know that you had a large enough sample size and he had a winning season his first year. So, anyway, I just think it's very clear he was a better college coach and wanted to be in college. And I think it is tough for some of the old school coaches to reconcile with how players' approaches and their I don't want to say ambitions, but priorities change in college now. So, all right. See if we can get a couple more in here. Swee said thoughts and prayers for you and Drew. Mad respect. Thank you, Swee. Very kind of you. Appreciate that. And said, what I like about NIL, it does support an independent, autonomous capitalist system. Last thing we need to have is government turn sports into government. I mean, that's always been my feeling on it. Like, we live in a free market capitalistic society. Why shouldn't someone be able to make money if someone is willing to pay them for a product, service, or anything? Anyway. Brady said I heard Notre Dame is going to join the G6 conference. Is that true? No. According to that, they're remaining independent, still making $12 million per year. Or we might be just about done, y'all. Unless there's any that I missed. If y'all got anything else, fire away, or we'll wrap this thing up. Von Bluesman, hey Drew, missed you this week. Okay, here's all the Drew comments. Thank y'all for that. Ralph Williams said, I thought Wade was Dale Brown-esque. Esque, by the way, is -ESQUE. Sorry, that's me. I just have to. Especially with his ability to recruit. Matt McMahon's good X and O coach, doesn't have the effervescent personality need to recruit. So I'll disagree with you on basically all fronts there. Will is a very good X and O coach, I think, and a very, very maniacal attention to detail. I think Will got into spots where, for example, you add Cam Thomas, you get him to campus with the understanding that he will have a perpetual green light, shoot whenever you want. Well, you do that or you don't get the player. So do you let the player shoot whenever he wants? Yes. Does that give you the reputation of not being a good X and O coach? Probably. Would you still rather have Cam Thomas than not? Yes. I think Matt McMahon is also a very good basketball coach. And I think Matt's got a really good personality. I think what you're not, I think this just popped into my mind. And I remember this because it was interesting. They came in the league at the same time. When Dan Mullen and Lane Kiffin were hired the same year, 08, Dan Mullen at Mississippi State, Lane Kiffin at Tennessee. Same year. And when they came into the league, they came in with very different approaches. Lane was big and bombastic. If you remember, there was the story where Alshon Jeffrey was going to South Carolina, and Lane told him in a recruiting visit, if you want to spend the rest of your life pumping gas, you go to South Carolina. That became a big thing. Meanwhile, Dan Mullen at Mississippi State kind of put his head down, didn't say much. And you could have argued it should have been the inverse. Dan Mullen needed to get attention at Mississippi State. And Lane Kiffin didn't necessarily need to be the big, loud attention seeker. It's interesting how Lane has become more subtle in the way that he is loud, if that makes sense. Lane doesn't go into press conferences and yell and scream and do stuff like that. He'll tweet and get your popcorn ready, all that sort of stuff for a game. It's just different. Anyway, but over time, Dan Mullen got pretty loud, both at State and at Florida. And I think sometimes it's just waiting for the opportunity to present. Like Matt McMahon took this job and realized, man, there's so much work to do. Building a roster, building a staff, building a culture, building all that stuff before you really felt like you could go and be outspoken about things. Now, Will is a bit more, I guess I could use the word bombastic. The NIT the first year when they played ULL and he took that timeout and then went and crushed Bob Marlin in the post game. I mean, we all love that. I love that. And I don't know that Matt McMahon would ever do that necessarily. But I feel like I've gotten to know Matt McMahon, and he's a great dude, and I think he'll be just fine recruiting. Like, I don't think anybody looks at Jay Johnson as this like massively engaging, charismatic dude. He's not. That's not his personality. But he's an amazing recruiter because he's so detailed that he'll sit down with any recruit and be able to tell them specifically with a plan how they're going to use them. And that's a big difference between that and just being all loud and energy, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I hope that made sense. Okay, y'all. Hey, Jerry DeLucky, what up, man? Good morning from the Irish Channel. Y'all getting out to the parades today, man. Y'all be safe. Vaughn said, overall thoughts on your New York trip and meetings. Thanks. I took 4 pages of notes, man, and it was pretty I'll tell you, man. Like the people that I got to sit and listen to and then talk to. But there it is. Pretty remarkable group, man. Like the first panel were 4 programmers: Spike Eskin from the Fan in New York, Paul Mason from the Zone in Nashville, Rick Radzik from the Sports Hub in Boston, and then Chris Kennard from 106.7 The Fan in DC. Then the next panel was Jeff Sotolano from Odyssey, Bruce Gilbert from Westwood One, Steve Polzner from ESPN Good Karma, and then Mike McVeigh from McVeigh Media led the conversation. Then Caroline Beasley of Beasley Media did the keynote in day one. Like that's the CEO of a major media group. It was just I thought pretty cool to sit and listen. Michael Kay and Peter Rosenberg presented. Paul Heyman from the WWE was interesting. I don't know that I got a lot out of that. Stephen A was the was wrapped up day one. Hour of listening to Stephen A talk about media, the state of media, whereas it was amazing. And then there was the a lot of digital media that presented. So Bonnie Bernstein, if you remember Bonnie Bernstein, she started her own production company, Walk Swiftly. Courtney Hirsch from John Boy, Steve Rennan from Yode House, Bimmel Kapadia from Meadowlark, that's Dan Levitard and John Skipper's company, Brandon Spano from All City. And then John Skipper was the keynote day 2. John Skipper is a former president of ESPN for a long time, for those who don't know. It was pretty crazy, just pretty remarkable to sit through and listen to all the stuff. So anyway, so the one that I got a lot out of day 2 also was secrets to social success. So it was Josh Fendrick from Overtime, Omar Raja from ESPN, Steve Brabant from WWE, and then Annie Agar, who's now with Stadium. They all presented on a social panel. And I actually went and found Omar Raja afterwards. So Omar Raja, if you don't know who that is, he's the one who started House of Highlights, which has 52 million followers on Insta. Like that was his. He sold that account and ESPN hired him. So now he does a lot of the content production for ESPN on social platforms. And I went and found him afterwards, like in the green room. And I was like, can I just show you our station's social and you just look at it and give me your feedback? He's like, yeah, sure. Sat down with me for like 20 minutes and just went over all of our 104.5 ESPN stuff, gave me some amazing ideas and hacks and just, I wouldn't call them hacks. Well, maybe, but just ideas. So it was incredible. I mean, it was a really, like when you think about going to a work conference, I think a lot of people might be bored by the notion that it's just people droning on stage. Like, I mean, I got 4 pages of notes of stuff that I'm looking to implement. So anyway, Jordan said, hour of listening to Stephen A has replaced many torture traditional techniques and Russian gulags. Jordan, you got to keep in mind, man, there's a difference between listening to Stephen A talk about the Cowboys or whatever and listening to a man that's the highest paid employee of ESPN, a man that has had month-over-month growth for a linear network television show, First Take, for 20 consecutive months, meaning for 20 consecutive months, every month, First Take has had better ratings than the month before. For 20 consecutive months. He's now started his own production company. He talked about the possibility of replacing Jimmy Kimmel on late night. Which, remember, all owned by the Disney company. So it was fascinating to hear Stephen A talk about media and sports media and business and not the Knicks. Anyway, Thomas Spencer, glad you made it home safe. Had a great trip. Thank you, man. Merrick, did you get Ryan another watch from Chinatown? No, we did not make it to Chinatown. I was busy basically from 8:30 in the morning when we would do the shows. I was walking to the conference until about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then Eric and I spent time together after that. So no, we did not make it to Chinatown. Anyway, Cortland, haven't been on all week. What was going on in New York? It was the Barrett Sports Media Summit. So BSM is Barrett Sports Media. This is Jason Barrett. So Jason Barrett was a radio programmer turned consultant who started Barrett Sports Media, and it's a web. He does a website that is or a media company that basically talks about sports media. So, and he used a lot of the a lot of the connections he has across the media business to get some really influential people there to speak. All right. All right, last one. Mike Hardy, all Saints have to address quarterback. Would you prefer they go after a quarterback in the 5th, like Rattler, or package a few picks for Fields? It certainly sounds like the Bears aren't going to move off their 2nd-round pick ask for Justin Fields, and I would not give up a 2 for Justin Fields. I just don't know that for a couple of reasons. Number one, you're committed to Derek Carr for 2 more years. Number two, if you're going to make that deal for Justin Fields, you're ultimately going to have to sign him to a long-term deal as well, which you're saying, we believe he can be our future franchise. And I don't know that I or the Saints believe that. So a trade for Fields would be interesting depending on the compensation, but it doesn't feel like the Bears are moving off their ask of a 2nd-round pick. And if that's the case, then they're probably going to sit there with Justin Fields as their backup this year or competing with whoever their starter is. They draft Caleb Williams. A mid-round pick on a quarterback is intriguing. I don't think they take Spencer Rattler in round 5, for example. I think there's a possibility. Listen, we all know the Saints. They've got a 1st-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and then they have 4 5s. The Saints are not going to let all of round 3 and all of round 4 go without moving up to take a player. It's what they do. So they're going to trade a whole bunch of those 5th-round picks to move up for somebody. Maybe it's quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. But, if you're committed to Derek Carr, Peterman as your backup isn't a terrible option. A guy that's been a starter in the league, but is not a franchise quarterback that can go in and play and be competent, keep the train on the tracks. That's what you want in a backup quarterback. So we're just stuck with 2 more years of Derek Carr. All right. I think we're done. As always, I'll shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. They're the best. Need an orthopedist, call Brock. Need a roof? Give us a shout. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. 364-1007. Give us a shout. 364-1007. 364-1007. Or HudcoRoofing.com. Okay. Y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for being there. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Tigers. Peace.